So yesterday we saw the opposition leader, Mark Golding, led his team to a very dramatic walkout, I would say. Everyone walked out of Parliament because of a dispute that they were having with the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness. And I don't think that this should be surprising to anyone, because since the election was over and we saw the People's National Party with a strengthened opposition, with having 28 instead of 14, we knew that a stronger opposition and they are going to be very, very disruptive. And the first sign of that was when we saw the inauguration of the Prime Minister, and we saw the opposition leader. First, the opposition leader came without his wife. The opposition leader at the ceremony, he was one of the only persons sitting down when the Prime Minister was announced. So that was one of the first signs. Then the first seat in Parliament, when we saw the cabinet was picked and we saw the Prime Minister's wife, Juliet Holness, she retained the Speaker of the House position, and the opposition leader did not like that. So we kind of knew that this was going to happen. So I'm wondering if this was a planned, like a protest type of thing, if the opposition leader and his team, if they planned this before. Because based on the opposition leader not happy with Juliet Holness retaining that seat as Speaker of the House, I believe that this term they're going to try and make her life a misery, a living misery. And that is just my thought. So I don't know. So just in case you have not seen this dramatic walkout, this is what happened yesterday in the House of Parliament.
Madam Speaker.
Members, there's a question from the Leader of Opposition, the member from St. Andrew South.
I'm very concerned by the way in which the proceedings are being conducted. We are attempting to ask questions. We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement. The statement was a wide-ranging statement. It not only touched and concerned the specific minister's portfolio, he also said he was speaking on behalf of the Minister of Local Government, who is overseas, who has direct responsibility for disaster preparedness. On more than one occasion, the member on this side who was sought to ask a question has been prevented from completing the question, and instead a point of order has been taken, which I don't know what the ruling was, or you yourself have intervened to prevent the statement, the question from being asked. Yes. I want to know what the question was that the member for South East St. Mary was seeking to ask. I don't know what his question is.
Member. If we have no other questions, announcements.
Yes, so as I said, that walkout looked like it was planned before, like they rehearsed it and everything, because this just, as I said, it makes no sense. Like, it's not even 2 months into this new administration, and to have a walkout so early, I believe that this is something that they could have dealt with without walking out. So I just feel that this is some type of a statement, and I have a strange feeling that we're going to see a lot more of this, that Parliament is going to be like, as I said, like a reality show going forward. And one of the reasons why I believe that this was planned is because the press conference came right after. Like, everything was orchestrated, was planned before. And this is what the opposition leader had to say in the press conference that they conveniently held right after the walkout. So this is the opposition leader, Mark Golding, at his press conference.
What we're seeing is a practice, a pattern, whereby there's a crisis looming affecting the nation. A representative of the government comes to the Parliament to state their position on the matter, to apprise the public, but the opposition is being prevented deliberately from asking pertinent questions relating to what the minister has said in his statement. This is a thwarting of the democracy. It makes a mockery of the Parliament, and it's an abuse of the powers of the Speaker. Clearly, the Speaker has no intention of allowing the opposition to pose questions and to play our constitutional role of holding the government accountable for their performance. This is unacceptable to us, and we had to absent ourselves from the rest of the proceedings. And we will, of course, going forward, have to adopt different approaches to respond to this, because the people of Jamaica have elected us to represent them and defend their interests. And we cannot let this Speaker manage the affairs of the House in a way that prevents us from doing our duty.
So that was Mark Golding at the press conference after the walkout. And what are my thoughts on this? I believe that this is a new type of politics that we're seeing. And it's unfortunate because, back in the days, even though like we had this political tribalism and everything, and we had violence that was involved in election, one thing I appreciated back in the days was when the election was over, like Jamaicans just go back to their everyday normal life. But now we see a type of system where it's almost like they're campaigning every single day. And I must say that the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, would have pretty much like an unfair advantage. And the Prime Minister is the best at using this unfair advantage, because we see the Prime Minister on social media every day, like posting videos of him, whether he's cutting ribbons for new homes, he's going and hanging out with the farmers, he's just on social media showing off accomplishments every day. And when you're an incumbent government, like that is the type of thing that you can do. But the opposition leader does not have the resources to do that. So a lot of times when you see a party in opposition, for them to get their voice out there, for them to get recognized, a lot of times they have to draw for negativity, and this walkout could be one of those strategies. So people are talking about them. But this is not the type of politics that I like, because I believe that, look, after the election is over, the election should be over, and I don't know if this is going to serve the opposition leader, Mark Golding, well, because when you are seeing the Prime Minister every day, as I said, the Prime Minister is a master at using his social media. So when you see him on farms talking to farmers, when you see him on sites where roads are being built, when you see him cutting ribbon for like new homes, when you see hospitals or police station being renovated and the Prime Minister is there like a photo op type of thing, that is the type of advantage you have when you're in power. And when you're in the opposition, you don't have that leverage. So I don't know what Mark Golding is going to do, but it is going to be a long 5 years. And I just have a feeling that this is the type of thing that we're going to see for the next 5 years. A lot of walkout in Parliament, a lot of blow up in Parliament, a lot of like dog fight in Parliament. And it is just unfortunate, because I believe that the Jamaican people deserve more than that. The election is over, and the government should just run the country, and the opposition should oppose whatever is necessary, but not oppose everything, and not like this whole theatric and dramatic type of behavior. So I don't know what's going to happen. But after that, we saw the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, like she came and she cleared up what really happened that led to the walkout. And the Speaker of the House was saying that it was very unfortunate that the opposition leader and his team walked out on them. But this is what the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, had to say.
Regrettable that the leader of opposition led a walkout during today's sitting. Members, the business before the House must always be conducted strictly in accordance with the standing orders. The actions of speakers are guided solely by the standing orders, and speakers are compelled to act to preserve order, uphold the rules, and maintain the integrity of our proceedings. The disruption today arose during statement by ministers when a member of the opposition attempted to introduce a matter that was procedurally improper. The question posed by the member of Southwest St. Mary clearly related to payment to contractors, and Southeast St. Mary, clearly related to payment of contractors and settlement of invoices which are outside of the allowed questions based on the statement by Minister. Indeed. Having assessed the content of the question and against the relevant rules, it was determined out of order as the subject matter was not within the official cognizance of the Minister. It was not within the official cognizance of the Minister tasked with responding to the question and therefore breached the rules governing the propriety and content of questions presented to the House. The ruling was based on the clear provisions of the standing orders. Standing Order 16.1a provides that the proper object of the question is to obtain information on a question of fact within the official cognizance of the Minister to whom it is addressed or to ask for official action. And Standing Order 16.1g, subsection 8 and 11, prohibit questions asking whether statements in the press or by private individuals, including contractors, are accurate, or questions concerning the actions of the Minister for which he is not responsible to the legislature. Standing Order 16.1h further prohibits questions that solicit an opinion or pose a hypothetical proposition. Following that clear and justified ruling, both the Leader of Opposition and the Leader of Opposition Business rose at separate intervals and attempted to make unsolicited statements challenging the Leader of Opposition Business had previously approached the bench, where the Speaker suggested that we suspend the sitting to discuss a reasonable way forward, and he refused. Instead of finding an amicable solution, efforts were made to continue the matter publicly in defiance of the ruling. It was a clear attempt to usurp or publicly undermine the authority of the Speaker. Worse, the Leader of Opposition gave instructions to his members to refrain from answering questions and from furthering the people's business in protest of the ruling. The subsequent walkout by members of the opposition was absolutely regrettable, to say the least. But worse, are affront to the proper order of the House, a breach of parliamentary decorum, and ultimately an action that undermines the interests of the people of Jamaica, whom we are all elected to serve. Members, I remain committed to following the standing orders impartially, firmly, and without fear or favor. This is the House of Representatives. It is a chamber for serious, respectful, and disciplined debate in the interests of the people of Jamaica. Thank you, members.
Okay, so that was the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness. She was explaining the standing order and what really happened that caused the walkout. So guys, sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. Who do you think is wrong? Do you think that the Speaker of the House, do you think that she's abusing her power as the wife of the Prime Minister, or do you think that the opposition leader was just being too dramatic and this could have been solved without walking out? Sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.